Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill. Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back. I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Ghost Chevrolet, live here on this Wednesday after a emotional win last night for the LSU baseball team as the number 1 Tigers win 3-0 off the bat of Gavin Dugas, who launched a 3-run homer in the 9th. What a scene last night in Austin. Tigers improved to 7-1 on the season. We'll talk all about it. Doug Thompson's going to be here at 7:30 this morning. We will react with Dougie coming up here at in about 30 minutes as LSU was in a fantastic baseball game last night. If you watched it, it was great. Here is the last at-bat for Gavin Dugas last night in the 9th inning and what it sounded like from Chris Blair on the LSU Sports Radio Network.
Hit well to left with some carry. Get out of town, 3-run homer. Gavin Dugas.
Done. The dude, that pitcher was done when they showed him.
Got out of the inning, though.
What a scene last night is. That was compliments of the Longhorn Network as the crew was struggling with the pronunciations last night, but it was a incredible.
Wait, did he call him Dumas?
Dugas.
You gotta give it to people though that aren't from here.
Yeah,
I'm not from here,
Katie.
and you don't know. It's Hebert, it's Herbert.
No.
Like
I get
in
that,
other
Katie.
states.
I understand that, and I wouldn't if I just walked up and met you. And you saw my name on paper,
Yeah.
and it was Abear, and you or Dugas, and you didn't know how to pronounce it. No problem. If you're on the call,
Yeah, that's true.
for a college baseball game
Well, they
at
weren't
that
prepared.
level on the Longhorn Network, there's pronunciation guides in the media guide.
Well, they clearly didn't
I mean,
read that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there's no excuse for people at that level doing that job to mispronounce game names like those guys were last night.
So they give them some type of guide, and it has
Katie,
it like
not
spelled
only
out.
do they give them a guide, they give them a roster that has it's very spelled out who the guy is, his name, where he's from, how tall he is, right-handed,
But
left-handed.
it tells you how to pronounce their names.
And then in the bottom corner, there is a pronunciation guide.
I never knew that.
Especially for a school like LSU.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where you've got Thibodeau and Boudreaux and Dugas and all these names that, universally people are like, Hebert? Dugas?
Herbert.
Yeah. But
I didn't know they had a pronunciation
there's a pronunciation guide for people in that industry to be able to say, it's Duga.
Yeah.
This is how you say it. But it's incredible to see how many times, because there is, yes, absolutely. I mean, that is who Bill Franquez is the SID for LSU baseball, and I would put my life on it that Bill Franquez has some type of easy pronunciation guide that he hands the road, radio, television crew to make sure that they all, that their parents watching at home, their aunts and uncles watching at home are like, prideful, not being like, ugh.
So it's just laziness? It's
laziness.
just pure laziness.
Yeah.
Is all
Laziness.
that is? I had no idea that
I thought
they
that was a
actually
very
gave
lazy
guide.
call last night.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was a very, this is to the bottom of the fourth. I mean, that was a great baseball game. And I know earlier this week I was saying, for me to watch baseball, I need 100-mile-an-hour and home runs. But, I mean, that was a pitching duel. And watching LSU's lineup that just mashed on Sunday, I mean, that lineup just really kind of was like, it put up 23 hits, 16 runs to close out the Round Rock Classic. I mean, they were scorching hot. And to see the way that they battled last night and stayed in it.
Was it quick?
Huh?
Was it quick then?
Absolutely.
If there were no runs?
Yeah,
So it was just quick.
0-0. So
Yeah.
it was a game
That's
that
my
kind
kind
of
of game.
it
Hate
was
I missed
moving,
it.
right? I mean,
Hate I
it
missed
was
it.
moving. And before we get to LSU, so I mean, we got to point out, I was thoroughly impressed with LeBaron Johnson, who got the start for Texas, who fired 5 shutout innings against that lineup against LSU, gave up 3 hits and struck out 9. He had LSU confused. I mean, you could see it. They were kind of like, I mean, they weren't taking real good swings at it because they were guessing on where the ball. I mean, everybody from Cruz to Tommy Tanks, all of them did not look comfortable at any point last night until the 9th inning when Gavin Dugas stepped up and just smashed. I mean, as soon as he hit it, it was gone. And like I said, I mean, those guys on the call, I mean, they were just like, there's a shot. Is this Dugas?
Going out. Dugas.
Dugas. Yeah, like he's like I told you, Greg, the wind was starting to pick up. I mean,
All right.
Why?
I mean,
Why
he
so
could have hit
boring?
that thing in a hurricane. That thing was gone.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you say Duga or Dugas?
I say Dugas.
Okay.
I say Duga
You say Duga?
because
But either way, I'm not
From
like I'm
different
not.
like areas of Louisiana,
Dugas
probably.
ain't it?
Yeah, Dugas is not.
Ain't it?
I thought they said Dumas.
Dumas. Maybe he did.
Probably
did.
Yeah, that's extra lazy to say Dugas.
Dugas.
You at least know it's either Duga or Dugas, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I even know
Right.
that. Come on.
Or you ask somebody.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there is you got to imagine like that. You open up the door of the Longhorn Network broadcast center, and it's a beehive of people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A quarter of them from LSU.
Uh-huh.
Like, hey, Bill, excuse me, Bill, number 8. Is it Dugas or Duga or Dugas? Which one is it? Because Bill would be like, it's actually Gavin Dugas. He's from X. He's from. I mean, like he would give you the entire background and story. So I mean,
That's
like,
too bad.
I hate to
Just
be
another
cherry
reason to
picking.
hate
Yeah,
Texas,
right.
though, right?
That's right.
Orange down.
Orange down, man. I mean, what a great way to beat them too.
Yeah, for
What
sure.
a great way to beat them
For
as the
sure.
Texas native. Jay
Walks
walks in.
Are you mad?
That's right. But what a moment, man.
What a game, too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It was a great game, man. That as the number 1 team in the country, those are the types of team. Look at what Texas did on a Tuesday night for a baseball game. I would imagine they haven't had that place sold out on a midweek game like that in a while. I mean, I don't know Texas baseball in and out, but I mean that place was buzzing. It was jumping last night. I mean, to have it packed, getting the best. Everybody was juiced up, and for LSU to walk into that environment, even against an unranked team that was obviously looking forward to that matchup, to step out and win that game. I mean, that's what the number one team in the country does. This lineup's overrated. Chill out, man.
They said that?
I mean, just all types of message boards and people that, were texting in like, thought this was the number one team in the country. Like, they are, bro. 3-0 win. I mean, some nights it's just going to be like that.
Oh, yeah.
Baseball, 56 of these things. I mean, if we're really like breaking it down, whether or not they should be the number one team in the country because of what they may be going through from a slumping standpoint in the middle of the 8th game of the season. How about nasty Nate Aikenhausen?
Oh, my goodness.
Who is this guy?
I got to find out where he's from.
I mean, like, that's what I love about, like, LSU right now is, like, they're just rolling people out where you're like, who's this guy? I mean, this guy's a stud, too. Christian Little's a dog. I love LSU baseball, man. I'm back on the train.
Were you off it?
I could be a little bandwagonish for LSU baseball for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there's no thoughts of Omaha, if they're not flirting with it, I'm out. Mm-hmm. But this team, I'm all in. I'm all in.
Yeah.
From Eastern Oklahoma State Community College.
Wow.
Nasty Nate.
Yep, nasty.
And
Eastern Oklahoma State?
He's been here
Eastern
for
Oklahoma State.
He's been here for a minute, right?
Well, no, he's a sophomore.
Yeah, but he was here last season. Like, he had transferred in.
I think he's been here 2 years.
Is that at JUCO?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Nasty
bro,
Nate.
he was dealing.
Yeah.
Does everybody call him Nasty Nate, or did you just
I
make
don't
that
know.
up?
Yeah, that's his name
I'm
now.
rolling with it.
Nasty Nate. He looks like a nasty guy.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, he looks exactly what I want my pitcher to look. My middle reliever is what Nasty Nate is. Like, I couldn't sketch him any better than Nasty Nate.
Lefty just come in and
Absolutely.
just throw strikes.
Little
coach.
grimy. You know what I mean?
Little
Looks
dog
like
in
he's
him.
got a personality to him. Probably a little funny in the bar. Also, the dude you want in your crew if somebody pops off.
Yeah, for sure.
Throw that
Paul's
lefty
ring
at him,
says
Nate.
La Tech beats Ole Miss. Horns brought down. That's what I felt too. Mississippi State beat Southern Miss. Ole
That's
Miss
right.
lost.
I
LSU
saw,
won. That's a good day for me.
Brody Drost went yard for Tech. Popped one on in that game last night. Was that Ole Miss that
Yeah, they're-
Louisiana Tech was playing?
Yes,
Who
they
did you
beat
say?
Ole Miss.
Yeah, I saw that. All right, chill.
Did
chill,
you
chill,
hear
chill.
me?
Yes. Huh?
What'd you say?
They beat Ole Miss, number 4.
But that's what I love about LSU's pitching staff, man. That's what I love about this team is that we were talking about. I mean, wasn't it for a while there? And I don't mean any disrespect to any of the teams that came through here. All of those cats could play. All of them were good in their own right. But it looked like kind of an intramural team year in, year out. Like a lot of them, no offense, looked like me. You know what I mean? Like they were 5'9", 170 pounds. You know what I mean? Like they were like. They were Sigma Chi's. I mean, they were frat guys. None of them had any facial hair. They all had like kind of the swoop cut.
Well,
they all kind of looked fratty.
Paul Veneri made them shave their faces though.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, that was like a
Didn't
rule.
Didn't somebody push the rule and he let him get away with it one year?
I think it was Cade Beloso. Like his last year.
Like during COVID, he
Yeah.
kind of like he lightened up and like let him grow facial hair or
Come on,
something.
bro.
You
Like
have
we're in
to.
college.
come on.
Yeah.
This ain't the Yankees.
I know. That is a kind of a strange
is-
rule. That's
that's-
like a Catholic school rule.
That's
Agree.
the Yankees
Agree.
rule.
Let's
Literally.
worry about something else.
Exactly.
Let's worry about something else.
Exactly.
Just win some baseball games.
Well, yeah. There you go.
But this team has a little bit of like, they got a little bit of that too, like a rugged look.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's that big. They get facial hair. They got a little bit of untucked. Like my man, Nasty Nate.
Yeah, just untucked.
You know what I
Just,
mean?
I'm
Just
out
kind of
here.
like, absolutely. That's exactly what the middle reliever looks like for the number one team in the country.
Bring it in.
Yeah, right. Give me Nate. I mean, pushing last night, Coach.
Yeah.
I mean, I was like, who is this guy? I never heard of him. I'm sorry, Nate, but I'm all in. LSU is, I thought last night was, those are the ones that you love to see them win. Those are the ones that you love to see battle, you stay in it mentally and win the game.
That was a super regional environment.
Absolutely it was.
What's
Absolutely.
next for them?
They're
This
home.
weekend?
They have a 4-game series at
Oh,
home
that's
this
right.
weekend with 2 teams. They've got Butler in town, and they also have Come on,
they
Stewie.
start
We're new at
Thursday
this.
or
We're just becoming
Friday?
baseball fans, for God's sakes. Who do they play?
Butler
Is
and
it,
Central Connecticut
And
State.
Central Connecticut State.
Thursday through Sunday, or
It's
is it
Friday
through
through
Monday? Okay.
But so LSU's back home. Yeah, I don't know if Texas will create an environment like that for the rest of the year.
No, probably not.
I mean, that was as good of an environment as you'll find in February baseball, March baseball. I mean, that was good for LSU to go in. That's another one of those experiences like we talked about. You know, last week.
Yeah.
I mean, you're the number one team in the country. Jay Johnson will be able to go back and say, you remember early this season, back in March, into February, where we're in Austin and the whole town was against you?
Yeah.
And you win the game in the bottom of the ninth? Like, it's not going to be that tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be stuff like that you're always going to be able to build and learn from with this type of talented group because, I mean, watching Christian Little close that game out, he deserves a spot in the rotation at some point. I mean, he looks like a pro.
Thatcher Hurd looked good.
He looked great. I mean, like, they've got really good problems.
Yeah.
Like, they got really, really good issues.
Yeah.
I mean, even some of the fielding and stuff that they went through. That was the first time I've seen Trey Morgan
Play left.
Yeah, Trey Morgan in the outfield.
Then he switched
really?
it up and put him back at first.
Right.
Kling in the outfield and then put Stevenson in.
Kind of made a little boneheaded play.
Yeah,
he went
he
back
did.
at first.
Yeah.
He should have let it go foul.
He did. He
On
should
the
have let
bunt.
it go foul, and then he shouldn't threw it.
Right. He just kind of overreacted a little bit. But
Does he ever play left field?
I don't know if he had played a lot of anything else other than first base when he
Yeah, I
came
don't
in.
think I've ever
man.
seen him.
Because that was like a debate for a while, and people were like, "Hell no! What do you mean he was?"
Playing outfield. Oh, he got gassed last night too, in like the second inning when he came from second to home.
Oh yeah.
He shouldn't have went on
Yeah,
that
right.
one either.
Right. Yeah, that's his deal. He's a little aggressive.
Yeah, but like you can't be aggressive when you're slow. On the
Good
bases.
for them. They're for real.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they
They're
are.
for real.
Absolutely, they are. They are. They're fun to watch. They, I mean, people talking about the lineup last night. I mean, it's baseball, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's sometimes. I mean,
You just can't hit it.
I mean, even the 27 Yankees were stymied a couple of nights.
What were they saying about the lineup? What was the issue?
Overrated.
Okay.
I thought they were the number one team in the country. Who said this team could hit? Like, everybody did. Chill out. They just had 23 hits 48 hours ago. I mean, like, it's just one of those nights. I mean, Texas, you got to give the kid credit. He had them confused. I mean, like, they were swinging with no confidence.
Yeah.
You can see on a baseball lineup when you're like, I don't even know what I'm looking at yet.
Swinging with
I mean,
one
even
hand.
Dylan Cruz was kind of like, I mean, like, kind of, that doesn't look right. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just sometimes, the pitcher is better. And last night, Texas had really good pitching all the way up until old boy that they put him in at the end. I mean, a couple of walks and a bomb. How bad was that guy's night? I mean, like, in the locker room, nobody's talking to him. Like, I mean, like, that was 2.5 hours of bliss, and then we put this bum in. I mean, in like 3 minutes, it was gone.
And they pan the camera to the starter, and he's in the dugout just like stressing, like fuck.
I mean,
Like,
damn,
they're about to blow my
man.
game.
All of that work for this. 2 minutes, it was over. I mean, two guys smashed it. Who was that poor guy? Was it Deplanche?
Yeah.
I mean, they were getting his name right.
Yeah.
Deplanche.
Yep. That's his name.
That's how you say it?
I mean, they spell it like Deplanche Apartments on Lee Drive. I know that.
That is the only one I know, too.
That's the only way I know how to.
Deplantier?
That's the only way I know how to say it.
That's how they were saying it.
Deplantier?
No way.
Yeah. That's how
I
they
mean,
were
you
saying it.
would, right? If you
I mean,
didn't
it's
know.
their own player.
That's how they were saying it, Coach.
Well,
I'm
maybe
telling
they
you.
pronounce it like that then. If it's their own guy, he's
Deplantier?
not from Louisiana. Yeah, Deplantier.
Deplanter.
Deplanter. It's
Deplanter
Texas.
deals to Dugas. I mean, what are we in Canada?
Texas forever.
But LSU, man, good win. We will talk to Doug Thompson about it coming up here in a couple of minutes. Remember to hit that like button, share button, comment button, and remember daily. We're brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans, featuring typical neighborhood-style cuisine like you find at your mama's house down in the bayou. They got their sister restaurant, Francesca's by Katie's, which is located over in Lakeview. You can find out all the information online, katiesinmidcity.com, katiesinmidcity.com. Katie's is located on Iberville Street and been around since 1984. Check them out, katiesinmidcity.com. LSU also starting the Combine. The Combine is starting this week with up in the NFL in Indianapolis. LSU sending 9 players again this season. B.J. Ojulari, the highest rated of them. Then you're talking about a guy like Kayshon Boutte and Jaquelin Roy at the top of a lot of people's lists when you're talking about LSU guys. We'll talk more about the Combine coming up here over the next couple of minutes. But LSU football made a move yesterday and announced that they were promoting a defensive analyst, John Jancic, to special teams coordinator and outside linebackers coach. Bruce Feldman had it first over at The Athletic. Jancic replaces Polian, who was moved to an off-the-field position for this upcoming year. Jancic has spent the past couple of years as a defensive analyst on the Georgia staff. At LSU this past year, he served out by serving as a senior analyst on the defensive staff under Matt House. Jancic got his start back in 1991, so he's been around for a while. He's made it to the Power 5 level back in 2005 when Georgia hired him as a linebackers coach and then promoted him to a co-defensive coordinator. So he comes over with some DC experience, including his time at Cincinnati, where he was a full-time defensive coordinator for a year. He now steps in and will call he will call the shots on the special teams, and he will also call and coach the jack linebacker spot, which is a spot that B.J. Ojulari was playing this past season.
He's been everywhere.
Tennessee,
Kentucky,
he's got a good
Georgia.
resume. He's
Yeah,
got a
he
good
really
he's got a
does.
really good SEC resume.
Yeah, he does.
And obviously Brian Kelly familiar with him. Speaking of familiarity, Brian Kelly also hired Bob Diaco, who has been in coaching for a while now. Diaco, an older coach, been in the trade for over 2 years, actually has a time and spent some time as a head coach. He was a head coach up at UConn for a while. And, again, very familiar with Brian Kelly. He's now
Were
an
they together
analyst.
at Notre Dame?
They were together at Notre Dame for a while and kind of came up together.
Yeah.
Of the same generation, of the same age. And he's now on staff as an offensive analyst for LSU. So a couple of moves being made here before spring practice happens for the Tigers as LSU gets their special teams coordinator announced as yesterday. They make it official with John Jancic, who they promoted from a defensive analyst to a special teams coordinator and outside linebackers coach. We've talked about this a little bit. Look, coaching special teams at LSU, it's not brain surgery. It's not from a football preparation standpoint. You've got very much the pick of the litter of the roster, right? I mean, you're dealing with some of the elite talent in college football, or at least from recruiting standpoints. You've got a lot of guys to choose from, specifically guys that can cover kicks, guys like defensive backs, guys like linebackers, guys like wide receivers, running backs, tight ends, specialty type players that you can put out there, right? It looked as if last year LSU really kind of overthought the process a lot. I mean, it was too much of changing guys in and out and returning. It looked as if the cover units were changing their strategy weekly on how they were covering kicks. Were they kicking the ball out of bounds? Were they kicking the ball into the corner? It was like, look, you're making this a lot harder than it really needs to be, man. If you've got a guy that can kick the ball out of the end zone, do that 100% of the time and just take the kickoff out of the game. Right? Like, just don't even make it a threat. If you've got a guy that can kick it out of the end zone, tell him just to bust it out of the end zone every single time he steps out there. A lot what Avery Atkins was doing while he was at LSU. Think about LSU's special teams unit under Greg McMahon during that 4-year run. They're as good, as clean, as crisp as I can remember in covering the program. And, we've been doing it for a while now. And to have the special teams that solid and that dependable is such a de-stressor for the program, right? Think about how many times you gasped, you tightened up, you didn't want to look when the special teams went onto the field this year. And not just the field goal unit. Everybody, the punt team, the punt return team, the kickoff team, the kickoff returns, every single unit under the special teams department was a stressor this season. Not only for the fan base, but for the coaching staff, for the players. I mean, you could sense it. And from what I thought, or at least it looked like, it was just a lot of, like, this is way too difficult than it needs to be. You know, rotating kickers, rotating punt returners, rotating guys that are out there each week, you know, having true freshmen step out there in the first game of the year and ask him to block the blind side on a field goal. Just stuff that you're like, why? You know, I mean, just have this group organized, know who's supposed to be on each unit, line them up. I mean, you can see guys. I mean, like, you remember Polian last year, like running down the hash marks?
Yes.
And like running out in the middle of the field, like on the numbers. It's like, yo, bro, get over here, man.
I mean,
line your guys up.
He was on the
Make
field.
sure you've got 11 to go out there and they're the right. Everybody in the stadium sees you with your yellow hat and your sunglasses, man. I mean, just get your guys ready to cover the kick.
You're the only one that doesn't fit in.
I mean, good God. I mean, this guy's dancing out in the middle of the field in between plays, and it's like they're fumbling kickoffs. They're fumbling punts. It's like, this is way too more difficult than it really needs to be. You know, I mean, just find a guy that can get the guys lined up, get them out there, stay in their lanes. If you've got a guy that can kick it out of the back of the end zone, do that. If you've got a guy that can catch it and make a play, put him back there at punt returner, and there's no way you can sell me that on LSU's roster, whether it's down or not, whether it's a down roster and they're going through a rebuilding process, or if it's, you know, like 2019 and they're pumping out pros every other pick, LSU is always going to have a playmaker that can catch the ball out of the air, make one guy miss, and potentially take it to the house. Always. Every single year, they will have at least one person that can do that. So for LSU to be in safety punt return type stuff makes 0 sense to me. 0. Put a playmaker back there that can change the scoreboard. LSU's been doing this since way before I was alive. I mean, Billy Cannon was catching punts in the 50s. When I was a kid, Todd Kinchin was doing it. Eddie Kennison was doing it. Dominic Davis was doing it. All the way up from Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, and everybody in between. LSU has always had a playmaker, a game changer. Skylar Green, a scoreboard changer at punt return.
Trenton Holiday.
I mean, like, put somebody back there that can make a play. Quit overthinking this stuff. And just getting a guy in there that can just say, hey, look, man, this guy's been around it. He's been around the SEC. He knows what good special teams looks like. Just roll him out there and don't hurt the program if you're special teams. Like, don't be a liability. You know, if you can produce any points, that's gravy. But don't take points away.
A Texas fan threw Gavin Dugas home run back.
That's awesome.
Oh, really?
Yes, Jock got it.
Oh, God.
That's awesome.
So Polian's like managing NIL and transfer portal roster stuff now?
Roster
That's
manager,
his
yeah.
new
I mean,
off-field role?
Come on.
But, I mean, that's what
Yeah,
he's been named to do, right?
Yeah, they gave him a name, put a name on the door.
Is that kind of like moving you down to the janitor's closet with your stapler
Sure.
type thing? And then next season you might
We're
be
gonna
all
find
the
a
way
new
out.
office for you today.
Yeah, he has a printer.
Stapler.
You know, that's cool.
It's my stapler.
You grab that stapler on the way out.
It's my stapler.
Big news yesterday on a potential return man that's going to miss spring. This is, I thought this
big
was, Aaron Anderson's going to miss spring drills, and looks like he's going to have a second surgery and cleanup since he's been over from Alabama. And look, this is a story you're going to have to watch. I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, I think he had surgery at Bama though.
At Bama, that's what I meant. Since
what is it on?
Knee.
Little cleanup, little scope.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
This one. I mean, the first one, the initial one was
clean up scope.
So I mean,
but they say he's going to be ready for the opener.
Yeah. I mean, he'll definitely be ready for the
spring stuff.
But I mean, new guy.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
like
that's
stepping
too
into a
bad.
new system,
That's
and
tough.
potentially when he committed, really and truly, I thought he was your return guy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought he would be the guy that was returning punts. We'll get back to it to LSU football. We're going to call Doug Thompson next and talk some LSU baseball as the Tigers roll last night, or get the 3-run win over Texas last night in Austin. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier, Kyron Lacey, Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team. Make a difference. Bet. Let's get it done.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com. All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Lady Tigers off to Greenville, South Carolina for the SEC tournament. They will tip off Friday. Still waiting to find out who they're going to play, right? Still to be determined?
Yeah, their send-off is today at 12:45 in front of the stadium.
That's right, practice this morning if you want to make it. All right, LSU baseball, if you're out on campus and you're sending off the ladies to South Carolina, you might want to welcome the boys back in from Austin, as last night they got a 3-0 win after a long road trip over to the state of Texas, where they closed it out with a win over the Longhorns in dramatic fashion. Last night, Gavin Dugas launched a 3-run homer in the top of the ninth to take care of the Horns. Here to help us talk about it is one of our favorites, DT9, former LSU standout. Now you can catch him on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Doug Thompson joins us here on this Wednesday morning. Duggar, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm finishing up a little carpool this morning, so I'm in the car, but hopefully you can hear me okay.
We can hear you fantastic. Tell Cam and the crew to have a great day at school.
Will do.
Dougie, last night, that was a fantastic baseball game, right?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, as a pitcher, I love the 0-0 games. I know a lot of people like offense, but I love watching a game like that last night. How about Gavin Dugas coming through with a huge 3-run home run there? That is not an easy place to win, Jordy. We played there in 1998, where we got beat 2 out of 3. I think the same thing happened in 1995 or 1994. But tough place to play, and the Tigers come out with a big one, 3-1 in Texas. And I told all the people that I talked to last week about how do the Tigers look. My answer last week was, well, we're going to learn a lot this week with some bigger arms and some better competition in Texas, and we learned they're legit. Yeah. And they've got their number one for a reason, and hopefully they can stick there from start to finish.
The pitching staff last night was phenomenal. Thatcher Hurd started; he had 4 strikeouts. Maybe my new favorite guy in the pitching room is Nate Aikenhausen. This guy's a dog. And then Christian Little closed them all.
Yeah.
What'd you make of the pitching performance last night?
Yeah, I liked Ackenhausen the first time I saw him. We got to get him a nickname, though.
Nasty Nate.
We already
or
have
maybe
one.
Akak. Wasn't Akak on Revenge of the Nerds? Remember Akak? Or maybe it's another movie.
No, we're going with Nasty Nate.
He's really good. He's a big kid. He throws hard from the left side, obviously. A real big kid, no fear. I mean, he acts like he's been out there for a while now. And then Christian Little. I don't know if you've had the chance to stand next to Christian Little yet. Not quite as tall as Paul Skeens, but this guy is massive.
Looks like massive. A tight end, Coach. I mean,
he could easily play tight end. I'm sure he is a big kid, wide shoulders, wide body, and stands in there about 6'3", 6'4". And I saw him flash at 97 or so on the gun last night too. So the abundance of riches is it's almost gaudy on the mound. Everybody needs to say some prayers for a healthy season, Jordy. That's what it all comes down to. When you win championships, you got to have some luck. You got to have some good timing. But most importantly, especially with a team like this, you have to stay healthy. So they already took the big blow early in the season with Grant Taylor. Let's just keep those fingers crossed and keep saying an extra prayer on Sundays that those Tigers are able to stay healthy this year.
Doug, Jordan Thompson made a couple of plays last night with his glove that stood out. What have you made of the veteran now, as he looks very comfortable in that position and even looked comfortable at the plate last night with Texas giving him hell?
It makes me trust Jay Johnson more. When I had a chance to meet with Coach before the week before the first game or so, he told me, he said, you're going to see a different Jordan Thompson. And that was one of his, he was emphatic that it was going to be different this year. The kid had worked his butt off. He had learned some stuff. And sure enough, here we are. And I remember that. Every time I watch him make a play, I'll think back to that conversation I have with Jay where he was so certain that Jordan would be a much better defender this year. And so far, again, so good, knock on wood.
Gavin Dugas, I mean, what a moment for him last night, and what a start to the season, Doug.
This kid deserves it all, right? He's battled injuries his whole career, basically. He led third in the SEC, I believe, two years ago in RBIs. Look, every national championship team, if you go look, there's some similarities. If you look at the type of pitchers they had, or some of the 3 and 4 or 5 hole hitter middle of the lineup, but there's also a common factor of a kid or two that had a purple and gold pacifier in their mouth when they were a kid, and when they, like my son, who has never thought of playing anywhere else but LSU. What do you mean, Dad? Where else would I play, right? Every now and again, those kids fall on a team, and those kids can play. I'll cite some names like, Mike Fontenot, Ryan Theriot, Blair Barbier, Jason Williams, Todd Walker. I think that's important. I think one of the things Louisiana leads the country in, I know that we're last in almost everything else, but it's pride. And it's pride in our people and pride in our state, and certainly pride in our sports programs when they win. And you've got to have that kind of where in the dugout or in that lineup, I believe, to really understand what it's all about. And Gavin Dugas represents that for us, boy, and he's representing it well. I'm pulling for that kid. I hope he has his best year yet.
Doug, I always ask you about the catcher because you have a great point of view on that position, being a former pitcher. What have you made of Brady Neal here?
I like Brady Neal. I mean, he might not have quite the arm of Alex Milazzo. He might not be quite the defender that Alex Milazzo is, but he's good. And I really like his approach in the batter's box. He's young. He's going to battle. Let's see. I had this pulled up before you called. Just looking at where he is right now. Let's see. What's he hitting? Do you see that in front of you?
My bad. Okay.
Brady Neal, 273, 6 for 22 so far. He's. I don't think we've quite seen him get going yet, but I'll tell you, he has walked 8 times, and that leads the team, and that'll work.
Yeah.
Like I tell my kids all the time, I don't care how you get on base, just get on base. I mean, we can't score runs unless you're on base. So that 8 walks is kind of a telltale for me that he's got an idea of what he's doing up there at the plate.
Big walk last night that set up the 3-run bomb from Dugas later in the night. That was a huge walk. Doug, one more and I'll get you out of here. The defense, and specifically what they're doing with Morgan and experimenting with him in the outfield. How do you like that, and where do you see that experiment going as the season moves on?
Well, I understand the reason why, for sure. And look, I played for Skip Bertman, man. I want to get the best 9 bats in the lineup. I don't really care if a guy might make an error or two or be a little bit out of position. There's so many guys that I played with that kind of were like that. Not that they were bad defenders, but just maybe perhaps not playing the position that they played in high school or that they were most comfortable playing. But that never really bothered me if they could hit the ball over the lights. So I love it. I love what Jay's doing. It's a foot on throat mentality. I'm going to get my best 9 bats in here. And look, not saying that he's throwing caution to the wind with defense and just not paying attention to it. That's not the case. But I like whatever he has to do in order to get his best 9 hitters in that starting lineup. And obviously Trey Morgan's one of those guys. And right now, so is Jared Jones.
Great to hear from you, Dougie. Tell the boys to have a good day at school.
Will do. You the man.
Later. There he is, DT9, former LSU standout and now a part of the LSU Sports Radio Network. And you can follow him on Twitter at DT9Tigers. We'll talk to his counterpart, Chris Blair, tomorrow as he'll be in studio with us. That conversation with Doug Thompson brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois, and the crew, finishing up one project over at Katie's house, beginning more projects out in the community.
He's not finished.
Sorry.
We starting phase 2, buddy.
Phase 2.
That sounds
like the destroyer.
Rhett on out of my house.
Sounds very serious.
Sorry, Rhett. I was trying to get you out of there, buddy. RMB, check them out on Instagram. You can keep up with all of the content that they got going on and all of the projects if you're looking for them on social media. Check them out. Rhett Bourgeois and the crew. RMB Builders. Instagram's on fire. It's awesome.
Handy jobs galore.
Okay. Speaking from a satisfied customer there. RMB Builders will be back and close out hour number 1.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacey,
Greg Brooks.
Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
Make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
We're all from different places.
Hey, that'll blow it up. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet.
Katie wants to give her number out.
I mean, you fools took the phone charger.
Put it on the poll. In fact, I talked to our friend yesterday, Ann Shaw, over at Southern Eye Center. The Southern Eye Center poll question of the day.
He went there without me.
I did not go there. I wouldn't do that to you, Stewie.
All right.
That's definitely a field trip for everyone.
Right. It's a great field trip.
Just those who know. But the Southern Eye Poll Center of poll question of the day: should we hand out Katie's cell phone number?
Oh God.
Yes or no?
Well, you know what the answer is going to be.
You never know, Katie.
Never know.
That's true.
You don't know who wants your number.
That's true. Maybe nobody does.
But if you have a phone, call and you want to get involved here.
They can't call us.
I know. We're about to go
Our
get the
phone's
charger.
dead, damn
We're
it.
about to go get the charger. We're about to go get the charger. Chill out over there. I'll hand out my number. I'm not scared to do that.
Me neither.
Okay, do it. Prove it.
Call us. 225.
You're not.
229-5254.
Jordy.
It's phone numbers these days are easy to find.
I guess.
They are
I mean,
very
they are on
easy.
our
They're
business
very
cards,
easy
but
to
still, you just blasted it out there.
Let's see what happens.
I mean, let's see what happens.
see
You're
what
gonna get
happens.
so
I'll just start
many
getting
random calls from people.
I
who
mean,
just
Jordan,
wanna
what
know
happened with the
something.
special teams
Yes.
coach?
There's gonna the next game. They're gonna be calling you, texting you. What the hell? You're gonna have to change your number. No, I'm gonna have to change your number. The person who deals with the cell phone bills is gonna have to freaking change your number.
Might be time for a new number anyway.
Oh, come on.
Talking about sliding in your DMs over here.
We can go get the. Will you go grab that, Jay? The charger's in my truck. If it's locked, the key's on my desk.
I know it's easy to just DM us. It's not like you need our number.
I mean, who uses cell phone numbers these days?
I mean, a lot of people,
No,
right?
but I think there's so many more forms of communication.
Yes, for people who don't have your number, you can just slide up in the DMs. It goes down in the DM. Everyone knows that.
It does go
right?
down in the DMs.
And if you got multiple DMs, I mean, it can just keep going down.
I mean,
see, for people my age, we have Snapchat. We have
right, like Stewie, you're in the dating world. I've been out of the dating world for a while. Do you still even ask for people's numbers?
No, you give your snap if you don't want to give your number.
Depends on where I'm trying to go with this.
And that's so much better.
What, Snapchat?
To have Snap or just be like, here's my DM, like, here's my Instagram, like, so you don't have to give your number
It
out.
always depends on how the girl looks and where I'm at.
I know, but if you don't want to give your number.
I'm just not like
Giving
that.
your number out in public is one thing. Telling your strategy on air is a totally different thing. Watch yourself.
Yeah,
over
now
there.
all the girls are going to be like,
Watch
oh,
yourself.
well, he
Watch
just told me to
yourself.
DM him. He didn't give me his number, so I must not be up to par for Stewie.
It's not that. It's not like that. It's just like, I feel the vibe if she wants to give her number out or not.
Okay.
It's always a feel.
Look, 33% of y'all said don't give out my number.
There you go.
I don't know if that's just sweet
But
or
67% said give it out.
I don't know if they're protecting me or just not interested.
There's some good people out there, Katie.
There are
believe it
good
or
people
not.
out there. There are a lot of them.
Believe it or not.
A lot of our listeners I love dearly.
Stu, when we get power back on that phone, let us know. We're going to fire it up here and take your text messages. Have a take,
And
don't
phone
suck,
calls.
225-229-7741. Some other news from around LSU. They know what they got to do to put butts in the seats at basketball games now. They have gotten very desperate here, and they are throwing the big gun here on the final regular season game of the night. You think that they're returning players. They are not. You think that they're bringing back Will Wade. They are not. They are bringing back Red Panda
I'm excited.
to return for LSU basketball senior night against Missouri. Attendance has been a problem for the LSU men's group. It was.
Have you seen Red Panda in person in there?
Are you kidding me? Have
It's
I seen
wild.
Red Panda in person, Katie?
The skills on this.
Sorry,
on
you
this
should
lady.
know if you were at the games where Red Panda performed.
I mean, Red Panda is worth the price of it. I mean, I
For
might
real.
leave after Red
Well,
Panda.
that was kind of my plan.
I might show up for Red Panda and leave for Red Panda.
Well, it's an 8 o'clock tip, first of all, which is sad to me because I had an 8 o'clock tip. But shout out to Episcopal varsity girls team. We won semis last night on our
What
way
is that,
to the
about
finals.
9? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the
Congrats.
Knights. Off to the state
Off
championship
to
to
the
take
champs
on
Friday to take on
Parkview.
Parkview.
Wow.
Go get them rings,
I
baby.
know.
Heads up for their point guard.
That was a late night, and so I'm looking forward to the game tonight. And I looked at the tickets this morning, and I was like, it's an 8 o'clock game.
8 p.m.
I just want to make it through Red Panda though. Like what? So like 9. I could probably.
Why can't we do 6:30? Like what?
I know.
What happened to like 6:30 tips?
The last game is senior night. I feel like that should be an earlier one, right?
Like, people off of work at 6:30, Coach.
8 o'clock tip is the worst.
Yeah.
It's the worst. It's bad when you have a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, it's the worst
when you have,
the worst
yes.
team. I mean, what was it? 2 Saturdays ago when they played at home, was it Texas A&M?
Like noon.
At noon.
Yeah.
Who was the noon game against?
I think
Mississippi State?
I think it was like A&M and Mississippi State.
Wait, are you talking about men's?
The men's game
too.
that was noon about 3 weeks ago.
Was it noon?
And
was that early?
I'm telling you, the overhead shot of the Maravich Center looked like practice.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked, I guess, 1,800 people.
It's been looking like that, though.
No, I know,
but
like this was elementary school.
Well, what do you think it's going to look like tonight at 8?
That's what I'm saying. Red
Except
Panda is the
senior
only
night.
prayer they have.
I know, and senior night, so that's a big deal. So hopefully people come out and support the seniors,
Katie,
because
I hear the sentimental tone in your voice, and I want to get on board with you, but other than the seniors' family, nobody cares about senior night. And not just for LSU basketball, that's for LSU football, that's for Alabama football, that's for Georgia football.
I care about it.
Yeah.
You do?
It's
When's the last senior you cared about? That you drove to the arena
and
to go
like,
celebrate because it was his or her last game.
Nobody in particular,
Okay,
but
thank
senior
you.
night is always
No
a
more
fun
questions,
night.
Your Honor. Thank you.
No further questions.
The defense rests.
Touche, mother freaking Jordy.
I mean, 8 o'clock tip off because it's senior night. I ain't coming. Red Panda, I'm in. Load up, kids.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
Let's do it.
We've got tickets for halftime. We need to show up for about 9:10-ish.
9:25.
Should be out of there about 9:18. Should be back home by 9:40.
I mean, I'm not sad about crawfish nachos, peanut M&Ms, and Red Panda, honestly, for a Wednesday night.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
I'm willing to give the nachos another chance, like more sauce.
The crawfish lists.
Will they
nachos.
give me? You think if I were like, hey, can you put a little more on there? Would they be
might
like,
charge you
that's
extra.
going to be $5?
Sure, you can. $3 more.
Yeah.
I charge you extra for sure.
You would?
I wouldn't charge you extra, but they will.
Thank you, Stewie.
I'm a generous person. I'd give you a little extra crawfish.
Hey, Dwayne Dumar said, Jordy, don't change the number just yet. I just text you.
Fair. I got you, D. I got you.
You did it.
Jeffrey Bone, Joe Burrow senior night. That would be the only one.
There you go. Yeah.
Oh, Katie, they're saying some chick makes $40,000 a month on her feet pics.
I know. Remember someone bought
Is
her
this
mom a
true?
Mercedes.
No, yeah, this is true.
I watched
Is this
that
true?
video. Yes. Somebody,
$40,000 a month on feet
40,000.
pics.
Yep.
Jordy, people are into
People
feet.
are
I
into
know
it.
they are, but $40,000 a month. So what is this? This is like a subscription
It's
model.
OnlyFans, like for
Yeah,
type.
it's like OnlyFans.
Oh wait,
for
no,
feet.
it was the
Right.
feet one because
Feet
Lloyd
finder.
set up account for me. Yeah.
I
What
mean,
was it?
Michael Parsons just came out last week and said he has a foot fetish. Or during
Sure,
the Super Bowl week.
I think many of us have
we're out there.
fetishes that we
You know.
that are on the internet that we can subscribe to. But
But feet is a weird
$40,000
one.
a month.
For your feet.
For some feet pics.
What are they doing? I mean, they like
No,
just
people
painting
just
the
wanna look
toenails
at
and
your
making them look
feet.
good.
Yeah, it's making them look good. Keeping
People
them
want
nice.
to see you like getting pedicures, like getting your feet rubbed, just doing weird things with your feet.
$40,000 a month.
Yeah,
man.
Coach, look,
I'm not into it.
I'll
That
do
is the
some-
last fetish I
I do
would
some
have.
strange things with my feet.
$40,000 a month.
$40,000 a month.
I mean, I might put them out there for $40,000.
Yeah.
Are you kidding? You might.
I mean,
Yeah,
I guess I
I would.
definitely
What is
would.
the
if
bar?
if it were guaranteed, like you're getting $40,000, I'm putting my feet
I
on.
mean, is
Feet
so
Finder.
is the one person that's making $40,000 a month is that like the anomaly? Is that the one that's the outlier?
No, I think there
Or
are
is there a
more
lot
than
of people
that.
that are
I think
making
there are a lot of
40K a
people.
month?
The woman bought her mom a Mercedes from her feet.
Cordell
Feet
Music
Finder.
says Jamil would be rich.
She would be. Jamil has great feet.
She would be rich.
Jamil has great feet.
I mean, if I'm Jamil's age, and I hear that people are making $40,000 a month on,
you don't have to be any
showing-
age. It's
I
just
know,
your
but
feet.
I mean, like she's in college. I mean, she
Yeah.
could set herself up for the next 5 years
Totally. I know.
by just like running a stream on her feet while she worked.
That's how you should have bought a car, Stewie.
I have ugly feet, so
Yeah, you are weird about your feet.
Yeah, that's not.
Somebody's into your feet.
I could have started OnlyFans.
Somebody's
I
into
can
ugly
start
feet.
a weirdfeet.com.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
there
mean?
probably is
Like,
one out there, honestly. Somebody's into ugly feet, too,
A
right?
redfish fish says foot fetish is extremely odd. That just means that your fetish is extremely weird. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's got something strange.
It's
to
odd, but
them.
it's popular. Foot
Is
fetish.
it?
Yes.
Is it weird that it's popular?
There's a site called feetfinder.com, so yeah, it's popular. I think it's weird. I'm not into your feet. I'm not into anyone's feet at all. Like, I don't get that. I don't get anything about it, but people are into it, so.
$40K a month is $40K a month.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got it.
$40,000 a month is $40,000 a month, and if you just want me to twinkle my toes for $40,000 a month,
I mean, I don't know if that's what she was doing. Maybe she was doing other things with the feet, but you know, there's a lot you could do with.
Yeah, give me a link to the $40K a month. Let me see the workload, no pun intended, that the $40K a month foot finder needs to go through before we start really breaking down this business model. Because I mean, if it's just sitting there streaming your feet,
I know.
We can get a couple of cameras set up under the desk real quick.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I think you can also let people on that site ask you, like, make requests.
Or we could like set up a little camera on the footrest.
Yeah, just a foot
That's what I'm saying.
Just put it on top
Foot
of your
cam.
head.
Right.
And just let
that
it play
would
all.
make me so uncomfortable if
No,
I knew
just-
there was like a separate camera the whole time just on my
Yeah,
feet.
and we could like put a stream up and just
Oh
put
my
your feet.
God.
And people just
I
have
mean,
to super
I'm
chat.
weird about my feet anyway. Like, I like regular pedicures. So I would be so panicked. Like, is there some dead skin on there they're looking at? Are they zooming in at it? Are they zooming in?
Remember, the Southern Eye Center poll question is, should we hand out Katie's cell phone number? Let's
Yeah, please
change that.
remember that.
Will Red Panda pull you to the Maravich Center tonight?
Ooh.
Poll question of the second hour, Stewie, brought to you by Southern Eye Center. Remember our friends over at Southern Eye Center on Jefferson Highway. Is Red Panda enough to get you to the Maravich Center for an 8 o'clock tip-off? I mean, this is desperation. This
8
is
o'clock is what kills it.
this could not have worked out better for the entertainment staff, for the event planning staff here. Because I got to imagine that Red Panda cannot be booked within like 48 hours of.
Right.
I mean, she's had to have been on the books now
yeah.
for a couple of months.
Yeah.
And it just works out that this is coming after a pretty sluggish season where attendance has been down, and they could use all of the promotional oomph that they could get. And here she comes.
You're not bringing your kids to an 8 o'clock tip on a Wednesday night to watch Red Panda probably, at 9:30. So that's going to be tough. This game needs to be moved up. Is it too late for
Hunter
that?
Fournette says, I don't know WTF what Red Panda is. Red Panda has had to have made their way to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah,
Oh,
Red
Red
Panda's
Panda's
been
been
on
there
like
for
America's
sure.
Got Talent or something like
I mean,
that, right?
like every halftime show in the country has seen Red Panda.
Come on, Hunter. damn
Right?
it.
I mean, like,
Well, wasn't she here this season already?
oh, I'm sure.
Didn't I watch her?
I'm sure.
Or was
think
that
so.
that might have been in a women's game?
Yeah. And
I
she
watched
does-
her in the PMAC at some game this season.
She does like UL games too, and
Oh,
she does like
she's
Pelicans.
everywhere.
She's everywhere.
I've seen her at the Pelicans.
That's where I saw her.
I was
we
at
were
the-
at that
yes,
same
we were at the
game.
same
That's where it
game.
was. Yes.
She was at the Pelicans game.
What is she?
for
I wonder
sure.
what it costs to get her.
Let's see what her fees are.
This would just be a guess. I would guess if you were to book Red Panda, you've got to put her up.
Yeah.
You got to pay for her accommodations.
Uh-huh.
So she's probably here last night,
Right.
or she's here tonight.
Yeah.
No,
She's
probably
here
at a-
tonight.
she was probably somewhere else last night.
Yeah.
So she gets a room tonight. She gets a little per diem.
In her transportation, right?
Right, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing coming out of her pocket today.
Yeah.
She's getting picked up at the airport, taken to the hotel, given per diem to eat.
Yeah.
That's true.
And it's probably $3,000 a night? $5,000 a night?
That was going to be my guess. Was 5.
It is 2,500
a night?
Yeah, 2,500.
Coach, we should get her here.
We really should.
I mean, like, while she's in town, can she come in here and juggle
more.
some
It says
plates?
she demands between 2,500 and 3,000.
She needs a new agent.
Yeah, she does.
She
But
needs
the
a new
teams have to
representation.
provide her travel and lodging.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Where are you reading this?
I'm reading this is on Sports Illustrated.
And like, I
How
wonder.
Red Panda became the NBA's favorite.
Who wrote that?
halftime
Dellinger? I bet
performer.
Dellinger wrote that, didn't he?
Is
'Cause
she
Dellinger's
particular about where
mesmerized by
she
her.
stays and her
Jake
travel?
Fisher.
Okay.
Does she fly first class? Does she request that? Does she want to stay in the Hilton or the Hampton?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
2019.
she's charging more
This is
now.
pre-COVID.
Oh,
I mean, like,
inflation.
post-COVID,
she's
she's probably been entertainment at board meetings.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
2,500.
She has her own website, Weird Panda Network.
She probably has her own foot show.
She should.
She might be on Feet Finder.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, for 2,500 a night, she better be.
Well, doesn't she do things with her feet? Does
Yeah, she kicks plates on top of her head.
Does she have shoes on or not?
Yeah, she's definitely got shoes.
Okay.
on. She's got like dancing, like slippers.
That's right. She does have slippers. Some type of slipper.
I've studied your act, Red Panda. I know what you're about. It's impossible.
I know.
I mean, it's impossible.
I know.
From
It's
what I'm looking at,
Yeah.
and like what it would, like the process it would say, like if you commit to this, you can do this. There's no like there's that looks nearly impossible.
It does.
I mean,
It's
to
amazing.
explain what she does, she rides a unicycle, and she kicks plates from her feet to her head and balances them in like a, I mean, like what, 2 feet?
Yeah,
I mean, like there's about a
it's
foot and a half,
insane.
2 feet worth of plates on her head.
It's like
and
a
didn't
tall
she do the
unicycle.
chairs at the Pelicans game? It was just chair after chair after chair. Was that her? They got on top of the chairs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like a crazy amount of chairs.
I mean, it's got to be more than 2,500.
I know,
It better
has
be
to
more than
be.
2,500. Red
Yeah.
Panda, if not, while you're in town, can we schedule a meeting?
Right.
I would love to represent you.
For real.
I mean, we can get at least 8 G's a night for this act. I would
Yes.
imagine.
Okay,
I mean, there's-
5,000 now.
She's now up to
She
5.
gone up to 5?
Okay, good.
Are you confirming this, or are you just guessing?
Look, I'm looking at Washington Post. Okay.
Okay, good for Red Panda then. She's doubled. That's good. Maybe she'll just keep going up from here. So send off today at 12:45 for the ladies team. They really want you to get there. They're going to be in front of gate 6. You can park on in lot 404 and send them off today. They really want everybody out there. It should be a big deal. Good for them.
Off to the SEC championship, man. Look, you could hear in Kim Mulkey's voice earlier this week. This is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't think that they're by no means making, this the centerpiece of the season. But obviously, they want to win some games in this tournament. They have not won a postseason tournament, obviously dating back to last season, and that's something that they want to do. And you could hear Mulkey earlier this week stating that it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal.
Very big deal.
All right, it's the first of the month. It is March 1st. It is also Jamar Chase's 23rd birthday.
Aww.
Wow.
Shout out to Jam, Jamar. Bolitnikoff award winner back in 2019. All SEC, unanimous All-American. 84 catches, 1,780 yards, 20 touchdowns back in 2019.
Beautiful. Should have had 22.
A wide receiver core that included both Justin Jefferson and Terrace Marshall, and Jamar Chase was the clear-cut best.
Yeah.
And that is saying a lot. I mean, Justin Jefferson is as good as a wide receiver that LSU will ever produce, and it just coincided with the time that it may have been alongside the best wide receiver that LSU has ever produced. Think about that. That is, not something that I say with any type of disrespect, knowing the names that have come through here, dating back to guys like Wendell Davis, who was a All-SEC most valuable player back in 1986 from the wide receiver spot. I can't remember the last time a wideout was the MVP of a league.
Probably Devontae Smith.
Maybe.
That year he
I guess so.
won the Heisman.
But Davis in the 80s,
that was
as a wide receiver, was the MVP of the league. I mean, that's an incredible feat. And then obviously Josh Reed and what he accomplished in the early 2000s, winning the Bolitnikoff Award and always being open, a guy that was, just caught everything, made huge catch after big catch, would play his best in the biggest games. Josh Reed will always be somebody that holds a spot on the wide receiver mantle at LSU that means something. And then you get into the golden age of wide receivers in the program when you're talking about, players like Michael Clayton and Brandon LaFell, and then working your way into guys like Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, into Justin Jefferson and obviously, into Jamar Chase. But even guys like Russell Gage and Russell Shepard, who spent extended amount of times in the NFL. Gage still playing.
DJ Chark
in the league. DJ Chark is a guy who obviously still making plays on Sunday. I mean, that position for what it has produced over the last, decade plus is incredible. And Jamar Chase is the king of the mountain. I mean, he's the best of the best. I mean, I remember seeing Jamar Chase for the first time when we were calling University High football, when Jamar was he was a junior and Christian Fulton was a senior, and they were playing U-High at U-High. And before the game, Jamar Chase, someone said that wide receiver right there is going to be a first-round pick in the NFL. Bona fide, no doubt about it. And then they kicked the game off, and this was Rummel versus U-High. And on the first or second play of the game, they take three-step drop, and it was the quarterback. He went on to play at Nichols, Forcade.
Yeah,
Chase Forcade.
Yep.
Takes like a 5-step drop, throws it with everything he's got, just heaves it down the field. And like he did at Texas, where he jumped over the DB and just picked it off of his head, Jamar Chase did that as a junior, and he looked like a Cincinnati Bengal. He looked as smooth as he did 3 Sundays ago making plays when he was a sophomore in high school. And I remember thinking, LSU has got to get this guy.
Has to.
Like, they have got to get this guy. And Ed Ogeron told the story about when it came down to recruiting Jamar Chase, every single coach, Dave Aranda, the defensive backs coach, the wide receivers coach, the offensive coordinator, the running backs coach, the defensive line coach, every single coach got into a sprinter van and drove to Jamar Chase's house in New Orleans when it was time to do his in-home visit, and told them, do you want to know how important you mean to LSU, how much you mean to LSU? Because at the time, if you remember, he was flirting with Florida and TCU.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
A lot.
He was supposed to commit to TCU at the opening, but some kid broke his leg.
He was committed to Florida.
Yeah, but like he had decommitted from Florida, and he was going to commit to TCU at the opening, but some kid broke his leg. And
at TCU?
Some kid broke his leg at the opening.
Okay.
And they switched his spot on like national TV to commit with that kid. And
really?
he was like, all right, I'm gonna just wait till signing day.
Huh.
So he would have been
I didn't know that.
Been at TCU. Yep.
And he played the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he I mean, look, man, if you're Jamar Chase, that time in your life only comes around once.
Yeah.
You know, go do it, man.
He was originally committed to Kansas.
Yeah, he originally committed
Was
to
he
Kansas.
really?
Yes.
There was about 4 or 5 guys from New Orleans that committed to Kansas because the Warren Easton coach at the time had taken the recruiting coordinator. Oh, no, it wasn't. It was Jabbar Jalouk, wasn't it?
I think Jabbar Jalouk was.
He was already gone. Yeah, because Jabbar Jalouk coached Leonard. But it was a New Orleans coach that had gotten the job at Kansas as a recruiting coordinator, and they all committed to him, like during the early parts of it. But when LSU got Chase, and if you remember, his freshman season was okay.
Yeah.
He caught a touchdown in the Fiesta Bowl though. On the way out.
Caught a touchdown against Miami too, but they took it away from him.
Wait, what year was his freshman
2018.
season?
So
2018.
Burrow's first year, Jamar Chase was a freshman.
Okay.
But even I remember Steve Ensminger would say that Burrow would always make comments about Chase. About like
how good he is.
He's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Chase's problem from looking back on it when you talk to people his freshman season is, and this is crazy to think because now it's his absolute strong suit, is he was weak. He needed to get stronger.
Yeah, he was like struggling against press.
He couldn't get off the line of scrimmage. They were pushing him around down the field. He was having trouble holding on to, like he would get the ball knocked out of his hand. If he had it in his hand, somebody would come swipe it and knock it out of. I mean, now he holds the ball like Walter Payton.
Yeah,
he'll hold the ball away from DBs, kind of like Michael Jordan did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's like toying with people. But the transformation. Remember when he used to get up off of the field? his sophomore season, and he wouldn't touch his hands. He would jerk
like
himself
the ninja
off.
jump.
I do remember that. Yeah.
I mean, like that was a sign of like he was feeling himself. Like I'm getting strong.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like my core is strong
that was
now.
Cool.
You know, like that was the difference maker in Jamar Chase. Like you weren't able to bully him anymore. Like I mean, even that Georgia Southern, was it Georgia Southern who they played first? In the first drive, he caught the slant for the touchdown. I mean, you can tell. I mean, I know that
dude's punching at the ball.
Yeah, he's like trying to punch him, and like Jamar, he's like, I mean, he's too strong.
And I want to say that DB is in the NFL now. Like that Georgia Southern DB.
I don't. But the play he made the next week, where he jumped over the DB on the first drive of the game in Texas, in Austin, and just picks it off the DB's head. And if the DB doesn't fall into his legs,
it's a touchdown
because he's falling backwards. Yeah. And he's like running backwards. And if the guy doesn't fall into his legs, he probably turns around and scores.
And honestly, if Joe would have just threw it further, it was a touchdown.
No, it was.
Like he had him beat off the route.
But I'll take the highlight.
Yeah, the highlight was beautiful.
The highlight was beautiful. I mean, last night was like essentially like 3rd and 17.
Yeah, that was 3rd and 17.
I mean, like that was like the whole game. Texas is sitting there like, we got the number one team on the ropes. We got the number one team on the ropes. Like we're holding them hitless. This lineup, like they can't push anything across second base. And like the top of the 9th, just I mean like pop. The balloon, just like they showed that place, and everybody was just like,
well, I guess I'm gonna just go home.
Can you show the guy throwing the ball
eat
back
me
in?
some barbecue?
It was like when they showed McConaughey. Remember when McConaughey when they showed? Remember before 3rd and 17? He's like getting everybody fired up. He's like punching his hands and like, let's go, let's go, hook 'em. And like they showed Justin Jefferson catching it, turning the corner, nobody touched it. He's like, damn. Damn. He's like looking up at the team. He's like, damn. There goes your soul, Matthew.
This guy that throws the ball back in after the home run is pretty awesome.
It's got to be tough to be a Texas fan.
Oh my God!
It's got to be tough to be a Texas fan.
And they're 0-4 against SEC teams this year.
I mean, like, because if I'm a Texas fan, I'm looking around, and you're really like, what else do we have to do? Like,
we got our own network,
committed facilities, coaches. We've got our own television network. I mean, like we have tried to secede from the Big 12. We've tried to get more money. We've done everything we can, and we cannot beat anybody.
We just want to win.
I mean, we can't beat anybody. We haven't won since Vince Young.
Look at this.
They're gonna come back.
Nice catch.
Look at the guy trying to stop him though.
That's what it feels
I'd love to know what he said when he threw it. Like, you son of a bitches!
Wouldn't you love it?
That's what it feels like to be a Texas fan.
Yes.
That is. That's a great catch.
Yeah, I know.
Look, the guy with the drink. He never spills his beer. He just goes over the top of it.
That's out of the air. He catches it like that?
That's what it looks like.
Wait, was it really out of the air? Do it again.
Or was that off the bounce?
Do it again. That couldn't have been out of the air, right?
Back. You can have your damn ball.
That was off the bounce, right? Take your damn ball.
I mean, dude, what a moment for Gavin Dugas. I heard Doug Thompson says Dugas too.
Yeah, he did.
So
I noticed.
We're good.
You're good.
We're good.
I wasn't saying you weren't.
No, I know.
I feel like
I was
different
nervous.
areas of Louisiana say it differently.
I was nervous.
At least we don't say Dugas.
I knew there are some Dugas in Donaldsonville, and they say Dugas.
Andrew Messini, Stewie, play the clip of Chase mossing that DB from Texas. Andrew Messina, Stingley also picked that pass off against Texas. That was a BS call he did. That was the best game I've ever seen a freshman play.
Yeah.
That's the best game. First off, we lose sight because of the way that Derek Stingley's career ended at LSU. That's the best true freshman season I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the best true freshman season I think that's ever existed in college football. For what the pressure was of that kid stepping into that position on that team, you got to imagine what it's like to be a true freshman starter on the 2019 LSU football team since day one. He was a day one, play one, game one starter as a true freshman on the best college football team ever.
Could have started.
And I could argue, he was the best defensive player.
Yeah, most definitely. For sure, he was. I can't think of anybody else on that team that was. I mean,
the last 6 games, maybe Patrick Queen.
Yeah.
Football. When's spring practice start?
Christian Fulton was a stud.
He just quiet. They didn't throw at him.
Grant Delpit.
Stud. Played the whole season with a hurt ankle.
Kalohan Chasson. Tyler Shelvin.
Clogger. That's all I could think about with him.
I can see your wheels turning.
Jacoby Stevens.
Nah. It was Sting. It was 24. Like every time they threw at him, he answered the call.
Every single time.
Like
every single time. And what was the most impressive about him is even when they got him, he'd bounce back. The Florida game, Auburn game, he fumbles the punt against Auburn. 2 plays later, he picks it off. They go at him at Florida the entire first half. He gives up the touchdown against Pitts in the beginning of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, who makes the pick at the end?
24.
I mean, it was every single time he was pushed, he always responded. He was the SEC defensive MVP in the championship game.
Yeah. That game, that's when I was like, this kid is different. Like,
I mean, that's George Pickens.
Yeah. That's George Pickens, like, early, before the knee injury.
Right.
Like, I was like, all right, Sting, he could play.
Can we get to Mailbag Wednesday now? We got a voicemail in there.
Do we have any?
Let's do it. Yeah, Jeff left one for us.
Jeff and Ken.
When does spring practice start, though, for
March
real? That's
9th.
what I was asking.
Is it March 9th?
March 9th.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so like
I mean, we're in March. Isn't that crazy?
It's like next week.
It's the first of the month.
Hopefully we can keep our status.
Cash your checks and come up. We're good. We're in, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Now with the guy's new office down the hall. This isn't your corner of the store anymore, man. Don't worry about them.
Well, good morning, Culotta Show. Jeff and Kenner.
We know.
So, a couple of things. Number one, Katie, absolutely do not give out your cell phone number. There's way too many creepers out there, and it's not worth the risk. And I apologize, the voice. I've been battling a sinus infection. And Katie, I got a side gig for you to make some extra money. Forget the feet thing. Set up a crawfish nachos bar where you actually put enough crawfish in the nachos that people want to buy them. So, anyway. And
I like it.
Sports subjects, though. One, Angel Reese, Bayou Barbie, completely, absolutely robbed of Player of the Year. I mean, it is an absolute joke that Boston got it over her, and that's not even debatable. And number two, this whole Nate Oates thing with Alabama and Miller, I mean, it is just ridiculous that this dude is not suspended. I'm not saying he's culpable in the murder, but the fact that they basically covered it up, didn't divulge it, and then he goes out and does that ridiculous, vile TSA pat down, which is totally disrespectful to the people that are victims of this whole thing, and the fact that someone got murdered, and then Oates basically has done nothing to discipline Miller is just beyond the pale. Anyway, guys, have a great day. Talk to you all soon. Bye.
Jeff, always looking out for me. I tell you, see, there's nice ones. There are nice ones.
No doubt. I told you.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Guidry in the chat says Laron Landry in 03.
Best freshman season?
Mm-hmm.
He was good.
It's up there.
I mean, Justin Vincent in 2003.
Yeah.
Who else? Tyrann Mathieu.
Really good freshman year, but Sting just
Yeah.
wire to wire.
Stingley was I mean, and here's the deal about Stingley too, and this will make this kind of makes the lore grow on Stingley, was that he graduated early from high school, which means he was on campus. I believe he was on campus early December of his what would have been his senior season in high school. Like, he was on campus for bowl preparation of the Fiesta Bowl versus Central Florida, and they put him out there. They put him out at practice, and in true Burrow fashion, Burrow was like, as soon as they put this high school kid out there, I saw blood in the water, so I'm just going at him. He's like, we are for 30 minutes, we're taking every shot we can at him. And he was like, I looked at Insminger, and he was like, this kid is going to be incredible. I mean, that's when Burrow was like, he's the best freshman I've ever seen. Remember, Burrow was like, it's the best freshman I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I could see Joe like going out there like, oh, that's a freshman? All right, cool.
No, Joey's not a freshman. He's actually a senior in high school. He just graduated like 2 days ago. He's like, okay. Like he was foaming at the mouth.
He's like, all right.
We're going to kill this kid. Cool. We're going to have this kid playing at Nichols by 3 o'clock.
Welcome to college, kid.
Yeah, right. I mean, by 3 o'clock, Aranda was trying to petition the NCAA to see if they could get him to play. Remember they didn't have any DBs that game?
They were like out.
They were out of defensive backs. They were like out.
Jontre Kirkland played DB that game.
They were out of DBs. Not only would Stingley have started, he wouldn't have come off the field. Another thing from Stingley, as a freshman on the 2019 team, he was the punt returner. Like, do you know the selection that they had at punt returner in 2019? I mean, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, just to name a couple. Like, I mean, could have been the punt returner, but they decided to go with the true freshman. And the first one he fielded against Georgia Southern is the closest he came to breaking.
This close.
He almost broke the first one he caught.
Punter caught him by the foot.
He did. But after that, I mean, it became very apparent, like, hey, look, there's no sense in gambling on a 15, 20-yard pickup or possibly bobbling and not catching the ball. Just fair catch it and give the ball to Burrow in this offense. It doesn't matter where they start. You know where they're going to finish. It's going to be in the end zone. So don't even stress it, man. You don't need to make a play back there. Just fair catch it. On things like that, on situations like that, I understand why you play punt return safe. I mean, if you've got the greatest player in the sport and the best player in program history, all right, fair catch it. But every other year, which is going to be forever, get a playmaker at punt returner. I mean, get somebody that can change the scoreboard, because the deal is your roster has that guy. I thought it was going to be Aaron Anderson.
I think it still will be.
And it could be. Yeah, it still could be. But, I mean, these are the types of reps, these are the days that you want him to have. You want Aaron Anderson to be out there. You want him learning terminology. You want him learning, just all of the little parts of handling the fall. So, that was discouraging to see the Aaron Anderson news last night.
Who else is it missing spring? It's Aaron Anderson or somebody else?
It was Aaron Anderson. Brody and I were talking about it.
Is it Wingo?
That's missing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wingo's missing. I thought you were talking about punt returner.
Yeah, I was just asking who was missing spring. It was two.
Yeah,
people.
It looks like Wingo's going to miss with the shoulder.
Which is fine.
That's fine. Yeah, absolutely. You know what you got in Mekhi Wingo. I mean, everything good. Bo Lowry was here a couple of days ago and was fantastic. And we were talking about some names off the air, and Stewie can vouch for that. I mean, the first name he said was Mekhi Wingo. I mean, it's every single person that comes through here or you talk to around LSU football, they mention Mekhi Wingo. I mean, they talk about his work ethic. They talk about just the example. They talk about his leadership. They talk about all that goes in to what makes him great. And it is it's special, man. I mean, he is a special player.
And this is going back to last year.
Yes.
This time, like, people were mentioning him before he even got on the field.
Yeah, before any of the Mason Smith news, before anything had been really determined on what his role was going to be. I mean, it has been constant. This guy being, showered with praise and love for what he's doing around the program, on the field and off the field. Remember, City Cafe brings you our show every day. CityCafeBR.net, CityCafeBR.net. Get in touch with them over there. Where good friends meet, where good friends go to eat. Go over to City Cafe, CityCafeBR.net. Check them out. Daily lunch specials. They got brunch specials on Sundays that crank up at 10 o'clock. They got a great bar, fresh oysters every single day. Let's go to our phone lines with a call coming in. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hunter Hall in Huntsville.
Hunter.
Good morning to everybody. Good morning to everybody not named Hunter Fournette.
What is y'all's problem with each other, Hunters? I
I
told y'all to be sweet.
You'll have to ask him. But,
You're mad at us because we said you didn't know Red Panda.
Absolutely. I tell you, hey, the other day, I think it was maybe at Kansas, and they're doing a halftime show on the floor, and you can hear Red Panda in the background. And I told my wife, I go, "Oh, Red Panda must be in Lawrence." And she goes, "What?" And I said, "The music." So, yeah. Oh, Red Panda's a classic.
What's going over there in Shittown, man?
Well, I'm pretty fired up today. We got little brother coming into town tonight, and I'm heading down here in just a little bit. Can't wait to beat Auburn by a whole lot to clinch the regular season SEC crown. Not co-champs today.
What's the feeling over there in T-Town, man? They're getting y'all seem like to be the center of the college basketball world for the last couple of weeks.
Boy, I'm ready for that to end, and I don't think it's going to this year. So hopefully the TSA pre-check line is pretty short today. Wow. But
just a tad bit of awareness, Hunter. That's it.
A little bit.
Just a little bit, man. I mean,
I can be as tone deaf and insensitive as some other people out there, but boy, that was a bad look.
That was as bad.
Unbelievable. So anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and just wanted to say roll tide.
Good to hear
Thank
from you as
Hunter.
always.
Yeah.
Later,
Roll
man.
shit.
Take care of the criminals.
We love you, even though you say roll tide.
Roll shit.
No, Stewie.
Get everybody off of parole over there so y'all can have a team next fall.
Gotta get that man out of jail first.
Bunch of thugs.
It's crazy, right?
Who we missed from?
Oh, he left a voicemail.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, I called y'all like about a month ago and informed y'all about Dominique McKinley. His dad was actually my coach in high school.
Okay.
But
Kid's
he's
an
now
animal.
the number one player in the state, according to On Three, in their industry rating. But what do y'all think about Alabama offering the number one player in the state before LSU?
Not the best look, but I don't. I know that some of those things usually mean something to people who offered me first, but I really do think that the work that goes into recruiting can cover all of that stuff up. Once LSU with Frank Wilson, Jamar Cain, Brian Kelly really put their foot on the gas, I think that he will absolutely knows where LSU stands. So I know that LSU's got some ground to make up, but I think that that'll be a pretty even race pretty quick.
Yeah, they offered him like 2 days after.
Yeah,
right.
And
they offered his teammate too. So, and he has a teammate on LSU right now.
They know.
Yeah. Oh, come on now. Kids from Acadiana, man.
All right. Any more text voicemails?
Cordell texted us.
Cordell.
With a text message or a voicemail?
Text message.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
Do you think if they give Perkins a chance against Florida State and Tennessee and played like he did all season, would you put him up there with Sting as a freshman?
Yes.
I mean, Harold Perkins is probably
Absolutely.
close second. Like in terms of freshman years, especially at linebacker, you don't really see that.
I would agree. I mean, his impact on the game every single week was unmatched. Stingley had an impact on the game that went unseen.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't realize how much Stingley was affecting the game because they never would look over there for portions of certain games. And when they did go at him, he always responded.
Made a play.
So, that was the thing about Stingley was that from start to finish, from just a consistent standpoint, he's the best that's ever come through here from a freshman standpoint. Perkins is probably in the discussion of being, that top freshman you've ever seen, but it just, it once he got onto the field, what was that, 4 games? 5 games when he became a consistent every possession player, every defensive possession he was out there type player. I mean, I thought for a minute there he was the best player in the sport.
Yeah,
there was a 3-week period that Alabama, Arkansas.
I mean, he played a hell of a game against Florida too.
Even like the Auburn game. I mean, like that there was just a stretch there where you were like, it's every week. It's every single week where he's going to wreck the game. I mean, and I can't wait to watch him play. I can't wait to watch him play.
They could do so much more with him
his
now.
sophomore season. I know. I mean,
this might be Tyrann Mathieu-esque sophomore
Mason
year.
Smith being back.
Mason.
I mean, like
Mason.
It just they've kind of figured his role out. Matt House has now kind of been in the lab with him for an off season. You get to look at film. You get to watch how you want to. I mean, like, whew, man, I got kind of goosebumps. Thinking about it. I really do. I mean, I would put him back on punt return.
Same.
I mean, really.
Can he return kicks too?
I mean, hell yeah. Appreciate you being there. Make sure you hit that like button, share button, comment button. Have a great Wednesday. We'll be back with you tomorrow. Wednesday means Mikey Matuk and Mic'd Up coming at you this afternoon, 6 to 8 o'clock. You don't want to miss that with their baseball analysis and recap of last night and looking towards the weekend. Make sure and check them out. Out of My League with Nick Diaz coming to you at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Check out Nick and the crew coming up on Out of My League. You can tune in to their social media and to their YouTube page as always. To keep up with what they have going on. And the Will Wade Show podcast was recorded earlier this week. The content should be out and moving. So check out Coach Wade's podcast and what he has to say about March. Preview the SEC tournament. We'll be talking to Coach Wade a little bit more here on the Jordy Culotta Show as March approaches and getting his thoughts on what's happening with college basketball. Appreciate you being here on this Wednesday. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.